morning, guys. Welcome to my channel. I recently posted a post where you select a country and I can do the video for it. After when I did my Morlandustian War video, and Great Britain was first. Now it's a tie between Tansmania and Bulgaria, so we have a problem here. I'm not going to ask you guys to vote for your country, but I am going to choose out of one of the two. I'm going to do Tansmania today, and I'll do Bulgaria on Sunday when I come back from my trip. So that way we can get those two countries out of the way. And after those two countries are gone, I'm going to repost the suggestions, and this time I'm going to list Ethiopia and any other nation that I haven't done yet, and then you guys pick. So let's get into Tansmanian history today, and then wait till Sunday, and I'll let you guys know. I'll post Bulgarian history on Sunday. I do promise that. So let's get started. Okay guys, so today we're learning about Tansmania. Now before we get into Tansmanian origin and history, just to let you know, Tansmania is the Armenian version for Japan. And if you didn't read the message I had before, the song that you heard during my intro was called Battle Tai, which is a Japanese song used in World War II and is now used as a Japanese national anthem. And Tansmania is based on World War II Japan, but it's not really actual World War II Japan. It's based on the lifestyle of World War II Japan, but it's actual modern warfare style. Just to let you guys know. Origin. Tansmania was the first Tan nation of the plastic world, and it was discovered or has existed around the year of 2005. Excuse me, guys. I ate breakfast earlier, so if I hiccup or anything, that's why. If my voice sounds weird, I'm very sorry. Anyway. The first government system was communism, and its nation was led by Tsar Mubarak. Tansmania over the years. Tansmania also participated in the invasion of Ethiopia from the year 2010 through 11. Their colony was called Tanaria and was under supervision by Tsar Mubarak's second-in-command General Doom. After their colony was built, they realized that the materials in their colony was running low, which causes the economy in Tansmania to plummet. Tsar Mubarak figured that the only way for his nation's economy to recover was to invade other nations, and his first target was Greenland. Mubarak ordered General Doom to prepare his army for a great invasion against Greenland. The invasion began on November 30th, 2011, and throughout the 9 years of war, Tansmania did not participate in the combat and only supported Doom throughout the war. When General Doom surrendered to Greenland on May 3rd, 2020, Mubarak was very upset that his second command gave up and failed to conquer Greenland. Tansmania over the years, Part 2. 3 months after General Doom surrendered, Tsar Mubarak prepared his army to terrorize the colony of Tanaria and to punish Doom for his failure. His attack started on August 28, 2020, which would later result in a civil war between Tanaria and Tansmania called the Tan Civil War. And note, guys, this was the first Tan Civil War. If you ever saw the video of Tanarian history, that's the second Civil War. Anyway, after a few days of fighting, it resulted in Doom overthrowing Tsar Mubarak's power and Doom becoming the Tsar. Even though he was Tsar of Tansmania, he wanted someone else to rule Tansmania and still be Tsar. So he split the power between Tanaria and Tansmania by giving his command to a Tansmanian Tansmania to a soldier by the name of Hidoku Yuri. Hidoku didn't want to be Tsar of Tansmania. He wanted to become a higher ruler than Tsar. Hidoku introduced communism through a different way of leadership by making himself emperor. Also, it suits well because Doom wanted to be Tsar of Tanaria, and Hidoku didn't want to become Emperor Hidoku, so he went from. So basically, he basically changed his name from Emperor Hidoku to Emperor Yuri, and since it would be weird to have two Tsars running two 10 nations, so they decided to change the government power and change the leadership power to make it not so similar and less complicated, even though they still had a connection between the two anyway. So, Yuri's reign as an emperor was going pretty well and tried his best to avoid war. But on November 13th, 2020, when Greenland killed a Greentopian general, they were called into war against the Blastopian forces. Also, their colony Tanaria was also declaring independence against them, and Yuri didn't want to lose Tanaria, so he went to war against his own colony. And now, guys, this is the reason why Tansmanian would later build an empire, because you see, he had Tanaria as a colony, and Tanaria was the only economical advantage to their empire, to their country. So if he loses that country, which he does, his money and everything that he's been that their first leader was working on would be pointless, and that's where the Great Armaments of War came in. Anyway, after the Blastopians won the war, Tansmanian lost their colony, Tanaria, because they were defeated, and Doom declared that if he won the war, they would grant them their independence, which Yuri did. Yuri was also involved in the war against the Galactic forces during the second invasion. Yuri continued to be neutral until he was brought into a war with Tainarania as an ally for their invasion of the world. Yuri was convinced that if he could help Tainarania conquer the world, he would have territory to own for his economy, which was World War Plastic II. And Tansmania did need territory to own because they lost all the resources, and they have less resources to trade or make profit, and they really need it. So that's why Yuri joined with Tainarania to conquer the world in World War Plastic II. Tansmania over the years, part 4, and the other part was part 3. After World War Plastic II, Emperor Yuri surrendered to the Allies, and he was tried for his crimes for the war and was later killed on February 14, 2021. The next person to rule Tansmania after Yuri's death would be Suki. Emperor Suki made sure that his nation would only go to war if he saw fit for a reason. So throughout the next few months, he stayed out of foreign combat until April 30th, 2021, when Kandahar had a civil war. Suki supported General Lumiere with troops and armor support because at the time Lumiere wanted to make the country communist, and he needed support from Suki as an ally. At the end of the war, Suki surrendered to the allies of President Leon, and proved to be humiliating for his country since he lost a lot of money and men during the war. Suki then stayed away from any combat once again to avoid more humiliation and economy debt. Suki was involved in the Equality War because his nation, along with other communist nations, were afraid that the democratic nations were going to conquer them, which gave them the motivation to go to war with the nations that supported democracy. The war resulted in Suki and the others to surrender again to the Allies, but it was also the beginning of two types of government coming together to honor their fallen, which lasted until the second ruler of Tainarania was dead and was replaced by a power-hungry dictator. Tansmania was forced to go to war with other nations, and if they didn't go along with it, their country would also be put under invasion. But after Tainarania's final attempt to conquer Greenland, the other nations began to revolt and put an end to Tainarania's oppression, which also freed Tansmania's oppression during the war. Tansmania was then back to being isolated from other affairs until they were needed during the Morlandustian War. Tansmania was brought back into a war because the countries of Morlant and Kondas wanted independence from Bulgaria and Bosaja. Suki also thought this was the opportunity for him to conquer the two countries because he was trying to rebuild his empire. But aside from Suki's plan to conquer the two countries, the war resulted in Morlant and Condas to have their independence, but Suki did invade the two countries after the war because he lost a lot of men, and it would be impossible for him to conquer the two countries without a powerful army, and it was their right to allow someone to occupy them anyway. So he had no choice but to not invade the countries. Suki is still emperor of the country and may soon try to build an empire depending on his thoughts. Suki, after thinking about building an empire, started to create an empire by invading the islands near Condust, but it would rather result Greenland owning the islands. Suki, angered by this, decides to launch an invasion on the islands, which started the first war between themselves and Greenland, and later it resulted with Suki losing and suffering a lot of casualties. After he lost the war with Greenland over the Salapines, the Salapines guys are army men that are salmon colored, and the reason because of that is they're really salmon colored, and the Salapines is the army version of the Philippines. Just to let you guys know. He decided to instead make alliances with other countries to be part of his empire. The first country that Suki made an alliance with was Condust, and it resulted in a successful agreement. Then, during the Imperial War, Tansmania would later lose their ally because Tansmania managed to overwhelm their forces, and Tansmania reclaimed their ally towards the end of the war. And the country of Morlant would be given to Tansmania because Suki made a demand with Tsar Kiev of Tansmania to surrender Morlant to him as a peace offering between them. Suki was happy that he had Morlant and Condus in his grasp, but he also wanted more territory and decided to invade the Salapine Islands again. This time, Suki's strategy was to make the mistakes he made and study them to where he could perfect his strategy into invading the islands again, and this time be ready for anything that comes at him. Suki managed to accomplish his plan before, but later it would result in him losing again, because Greenland and Grayton made an alliance and defeated him. Since Suki was defeated, he surrendered to Greenland and gave his position of emperor to Colonel Hirohito. Suki originally wanted Colonel Miyagi, his second in command, to be the new emperor, but during the Battle of Kanoi, he was killed, and would later have to put another colonel, which was Colonel Hirohito, in his place. Alright guys, so this is the end of Tansmanian history. Stay tuned for announcements. Into announcements, I just want to say thank you to Monarchist Music for letting me, well, not really letting me, but I played your song of the Battle Tie, and I do not mean to take it without permission. I would ask you permission, but I don't know if you would respond to me but anyway, I thank you for making a really good presentation of Battle Tie, and it really goes well with my video. And if you guys like my video where I have the song, let me know. If you want me to play military songs behind my videos, just let me know. Anyway, so announcements are Sunday when I come back. I know I said this already, but I will do Bulgarian history. I'm also going to make 2 posts today, and one of them is going to be for if you want me to listen to a national anthem around the world, and you're going to pick the national anthem on the choice section, and then on the other side would be Armenian history, and you get to pick the next country that you want me to do after when I do Bulgaria. So stay tuned for those. And I'm just going to let you guys know, thank you guys for giving me 36 subscribers. I'm very happy. I'm very proud. Also, 2 of my subscribers, I want to say thank you very much. And I hope you enjoy my videos. So stay tuned till stay on my channel. Be aware on Sunday, because Sunday I'll be posting new videos. So see you guys.